today I just want to touch briefly on some of those that I think are most important and perhaps even past that most important to you folks. HRS 183C-1 states that the purpose of the Conservation District is to conserve, protect, and preserve the important natural resources of the state through appropriate management and use, and I kind of underline that term, management and use, to promote their long-term sustainability and the public health, safety, and welfare. And I believe that within the context of the comprehensive management program that the university is implementing, that UH's request for a permit is consistent with that purpose for the Conservation District. That's a very important point here, I think. The purpose of the Conservation District rules, as I read them, is not to prohibit land uses such as observatories in the Conservation District. It is to regulate them. In other words, to manage the district's use in a responsible and very respectful way. That is why, for example, commercial fishing is allowed in coastal waters, which are in the Conservation District. That's why commercial logging can be permitted in some areas of the Conservation District. So again, the intent of the regulations is to manage the use of the district, not to prohibit anything other than simple conservation, meaning no change. When considered with the resource management and mitigation measures that will be implemented, the TMT project will, in my opinion, contribute to the long-term sustainability of Mauna Kea's resources. The university, through the Office of Mauna Kea Management, is committed to implementing the comprehensive management plan and the sub-plans under it, and is devoting significant resources to that effect. The TMT project is consistent with the board-approved comprehensive management plan and the sub-plans, the cultural resource plan, the natural resource management plan, and the others. The project-specific TMT management plan that's included in the CDUA adopts the approach, the goals, the objectives, the findings, the recommendations, and management strategies and actions of the CMP and the sub-plans in their entirety. And it provides for relevant action items to be implemented. And that's important. And there's an effort to make sure not just promises are made, but promises are fulfilled. Finally, TIO is committed to developing a project-specific decommissioning plan. And I know that's been a topic of great discussion among many people. Sorry. That's been a topic of great discussion among many people. As the board has acknowledged in the past, astronomy can be an environmentally responsible and economically sustainable use. The design of the TMT project itself is consistent with the goals and objectives of the 2000 Mauna Kea Master Plan, as well as those of the CMP and its sub-plans. I think that when all factors are considered, the facts show that approval being sought is consistent with the overall purpose of the Conservation District. The TMT project is located in the resource subzone of the Conservation District. In other words, the Conservation District is divided up into a number of subzones, some more restrictive than others. The most protective of those is the protected subzone. Less protective of that is the limited. Below that is the resource subzone within which TMT project is located, and in fact, all of the observatories. So I think it's important to keep that hierarchy in mind, and there are uses that would not be appropriate in the most restrictive of those that are appropriate, I believe, in the resource subzone. The objectives of the resource subzone are to ensure, with proper management, the sustainable use of the natural resources of those areas. So that's sort of what we looked at in terms of whether or not the objectives of the subzone could be met. Pursuant to HAR 13.5-24C, astronomy facilities under an approved management plan are an identified permissible use in the resource subzone, as are commercial forestry and mining. And I mention those just to point out that there are things that are extractive, that are substantial, other than just keeping things that are permissible uses if there's an approved management plan and if the board says yes. Okay.